Okay. Hey guys, this is Al here. We're in day 2 of this effort. We've removed the intake runners, all except for one. The only reason that this one hasn't come off is because the thermostat housing needs to come off as well. We've just drained the coolant. It was a lot more work than I expected it to be. It was a heck of a lot of work. But I wasn't doing it, so I'm happy about that. I'm going to pass it on to Vaughan. He can talk about what he had to deal with in order to get it off. There were some challenges. Obviously, we had to take the wiper linkages off in order to get to the back of the intake. So that took some effort. We're going to have to order a bunch of parts for these because all these hoses are in bad shape. The rubber gaskets for the intakes all need to be replaced. A bunch of stuff needs to be done. But anyway, let me grab the camera and let him talk. Do you want? Okay, let's talk about where we were from a couple of days back.
So we still had the
we had
intake plenums on. We had the throttle body on, and we were struggling to remove all of the little individual intake runners.
Right. So the challenge was that it needed to come out in a certain sequence, and it didn't want to come out. It had to come out in a certain order. There's really two ways of doing it. One of them is take the front of the cooling system off and then remove the runner number 8, the one that we've marked here with number 8, or what did you have to do over here? Take the throttle body off, right?
I started at the back. We're still going to have to remove this entire, I'm going to call these the coolant distribution pipes that go to the cylinder head.
Right.
All this has to come off to remove this runner. Now, I guess we could remove just this top portion of the thermostat housing to get to the bolt that holds this line on. This is the one that's leaking.
Right.
But we're thinking we want to reseal all of these coolant fittings. I guess they're notorious for leaking.
Mm-hmm.
So we do still have to remove all this stuff. That's why we're draining the cooling system.
Right.
We're going to reseal everything. But we could just get to it by removing this top thermostat housing.
Right.
The top portion of it.
Right.
What else?
Now we're in there, right?
Yeah. So
all of these pieces start breaking.
Somebody has been in here. You can see there's some silicone on these valve covers. I could tell things weren't put back perfectly, but these are hard as plastic, and they were siliconed on, so this took prying with a screwdriver to break off. So it's going to be a bit of a chore cleaning all this up, but these definitely need to be replaced.
The hoses are pretty hard.
Yeah,
the
we're going to have
lines are hard.
All these fuel hoses we're going to have remade with new Continental hose, crimped on.
Yeah.
I guess we'll redo our O-rings on our hydraulic pumps.
Yeah, I got some of those actually.
And
plug wires. You may as well do them right now.
The plenums kind of trap the plug wires in.
Right.
Yeah.
And all this on a frickin' car that's been smacked in the front. So it's a car that I'm going to be putting back together again, and it's still broken. We did take that. Where's that hose? Did we put it back? Or
the fuel line?
Yeah, the fuel line.
Oh.
Is it already on there still?
I think I set it back.
Okay. Yeah, so
that went that way.
Yeah, so see this connection over here? This is where the fuel the fuel rail O-rings sit. They sit right there in that groove over here. When we took this out, this side wasn't leaking, but just by pulling it out, the thing just literally disintegrated in my hands, and I have a picture of it just basically coming out. It just turned into dust. So whatever rubber compound is being used, it's just not...
Hasn't aged very well.
Yeah, it's not good stuff. If you guys, anyone owns one of these Zytec engine cars, you guys need to take care of this right away, because if you don't take care of this, let me show you what you'll end up with. Yeah, this is what you'll end up with. This is my 2001 Azure, same fuel injection system, And I bought it like this. I bought it already caught fire, but I can guarantee you the reason it caught fire is because of those the fuel rail O-rings. Um, those are just a ticking time bomb on these cars. All right, so what do you think needs to be ordered at this point?
So definitely all of our intake gaskets.
Both sides, right?
Yeah, I'd get all these rubber gaskets, especially the lower ones. All the vacuum hoses.
Which, I mean, do you think generic vacuum hoses, or do I need to order them from?
I would use something a little more high quality than the off-the-shelf auto parts store
Silicone?
stuff. So we'll maybe, but they are kind of large diameter, so we don't want them to collapse in on them. So we'll find something suitable.
Right.
You know, maybe that hose shop has some Continental hose or something, quality hose that'll last a long time.
Right, right.
There's a couple plastic tees that I'm not sure if they were factory, but you can see that broke, and there used to be a third one coming off, and all these are hard as a rock.
Yeah.
This has a PCV, I believe, PCV hose, or maybe this went to the waste. No, I'm sorry, the blow-off valve,
Yeah.
recirculation valve. I'm not sure, but we'll
Yeah,
find
we replaced something like that on the other car, on the Brooklyns, right?
I don't know if it's required to pull this wiper support bracket off. I just found it a lot easier to remove the throttle body by doing that. So I might have worked in reverse. I feel like if you started at the front, you might not have had to do that, but that's what I did.
Yeah. Plug wires, they need to be done. Fuel lines need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Obviously, these coolant lines that go in these coolant passages over here.
Yeah, we'll reseal all that stuff. Yeah, I think that might just about have it, unless I'm missing something super obvious.
Thermostat housing, thermostat gasket, thermostat for sure.
Yeah, if you had leaking valve covers, this would be the best time to do it.
Does it pay to do it for us right now?
It might. I don't see any. It doesn't look like they're leaking, but it would be good insurance.
But yeah, so it's turned into a much bigger job than I expected. It was just 4 O-rings really that and one of them failed. But man, when I took that one out, the way it just came apart, I would recommend everybody who has one of these with a Zytec engine gets this taken care of.
Absolutely. You know, if you only wanted to replace that one O-ring, you could have pulled the air-to-water intercooler, removed this fuel hose from the regulator, pulled the top of that thermostat housing off and replaced it. But that wasn't our goal.
No.
We wanted to have all of these rebuilt. You know, there's a little trick you could get to every one of these individually, but to do them all, I know this seems like a lot, but this is the only way to reseal everything and cover all these other potential leaks while you're in here.
So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm not buying those O-rings again from Rolls-Royce or whatever the Rolls-Royce specification was. I'm thinking about going with Viton O-rings, which is a much newer technology for rubber. It's chemical resistant, it's fuel resistant. I'm going to do a little bit more reading just to make sure it's okay with ethanol and everything else like that. But by all accounts, it's supposed to be much better around heat, much better around fuel, and much better around other chemicals. So if I'm probably going to go with that, you know, you can buy a kit for in that size O-ring, $10, right? It will buy you all the O-rings that you need. So that's what I'm thinking about doing, because I just think it'll last longer. And the state of those O-rings that came out were just diabolical. So again, any of you have one of these cars, hasn't done it yet, has owned the car for 5 or 6 years, you may want to think about doing it, because the way that car leaked fuel, you know, if the engine was hot, it would have set the car on fire.
Oh yeah, and it's not just a drip; it's a mist.
Yeah,
so it's a lot easier to ignite that than it is a drip running down the block.
Right.
it blew forward. So imagine that blowing back on your exhaust
Yeah,
folders up.
with the fans running and everything else like that,
Yeah.
it's not good. So I mean, I guarantee you that that's what happened to that Azure over there.
Oh,
Is
very,
that
very likely.
yeah, it caught fire. It caught fire because of this.
Yeah. And I've seen these hoses in a lot worse shape too. You know, they're not good, but they're flexible. But I've seen these with visible cracks in their
Yeah.
outer layer about to rupture. So, and these are all under full fuel pressure. They're,
Right, and they're under everything. You'll never see them. Like
no,
once the intercooler's on,
you'll have a better idea of their condition, but
yeah,
I would assume that they're all on the verge of leaking. I mean,
Yeah.
they're the age of the car.
yeah,
So.
yeah. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. So we're just going to take everything, the thermostat casing off. We're going to put a parts order in. It's coming in from England. So probably 3 or 4 days from now, we'll be able to get back on it. Vaughn's got like 6 other jobs that he's in the middle of, so I'm trying to get him in his downtime. But hopefully this car will be back together in the next couple of weeks. All right. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.